The Crucible, an analytical essay. Over the next few weeks, you will be using this graphic organizer to develop an outline or structure for your essay. So I've broken this down into steps, which you will follow to eventually get to the point where you have a workable outline from which you can write your essay. So step 1 is choosing a topic. We already talked about 3 possible topics in the form of characters, so I'm sticking with those. You will choose one of the topics below. Each topic has 1 or 2 questions designed to get you thinking. Okay, so topic 1, John Proctor. So John as a tragic hero and themes of confession and guilt. So I've given questions which you can use as prompts, okay, and they relate to the topic in question. So for John, we've got how is recrimination damaging? How is self-recrimination damaging? Self-recrimination is a fancy word for guilt, shame, or self-blame. And then underneath, I give you a little tip. Consider how John's sense of guilt over his affair impacts the decisions he makes. Another question you can consider for John is, how can integrity become a character flaw? Okay, so integrity can also be honesty or ethicality. So consider how John's desire to be a good man impacts the decisions he makes. Topic 2, Abigail Williams, themes of power and fear. How is fear used to gain and keep power? Consider Abigail Williams' role in sowing fear in the community. How does fear motivate a desire for power? Consider the role of the religious leaders like Danforth in the spreading of fear and the time in which Arthur Miller lived and McCarthyism. You may also consider Abigail's drive to gain power and the fear that might have inspired her to do so. Okay. Topic 3, Reverend Hale. As a dynamic character and themes of authority and belief. How and why does Reverend Hale's relationship with authority or religion change during the play? Consider what he thinks important at the beginning of the play compared with what he considers important at the end of the play. Okay, so once you've picked a topic and you've taken a look at the questions, you're going to move on to step 2. Once you've chosen your topic, look at the questions beneath it. One of these questions will be your essay prompt. Choose the question you want to explore. Okay, so for the ones that have 2 questions, you're only choosing one of these questions. Okay? Formulate an answer to this question. Make sure that you answer thoroughly. Are you interpreting the text by using your background information and making connections? Okay? So this means you're using your own brain, coming up with your own ideas. You're not just summarizing the text or telling me what happened. If you have a different idea you want to explore, you may do so. Before you do this, see if you can phrase it as a question. Write your question beneath the sentence and then provide the answer in the box. Your question must relate to one of the topics above. And there's the part for your own question, okay? So in this box here, you're going to, it's not a Knox, it's a box. In this box here, you're going to be writing your answer to whichever question you've picked, okay? Step 3, writing a thesis statement. Once you have your answer, you're going to write your thesis statement for your essay. So here's how you're going to do this. You're going to reread your answer. You're going to underline the parts that express your perspective on the story or interpretation of the story. Okay, so not summarization. You're going to underline the parts that are necessary for your audience to understand your argument. And you're going to underline the parts that can be proven right or wrong using evidence from the text. You do not want to underline summarization, facts that people agree on, and information that isn't necessary to understanding your argument. Okay, then you're going to go back, consider what you have underlined. Form these words, phrases into a thesis statement. Your thesis statement must be specific, arguable, demonstrable, forceful, and confident. Your thesis statement goes in this box. Okay, step 4, supporting details. Identify 3 details or pieces of evidence from the play that support your thesis statement. These details may include things that we looked at during characterization, so dialogue, thoughts, actions, impact on others, direct description, or they may be literary devices, metaphors, symbols, allusions, juxtaposition, irony, etc. For each detail, you will need to provide a quote from the text, a label, so tell me what it is. Is it a dialogue? Is it an action? Is it a metaphor? Is it an allusion, etc.? And then a brief interpretation. This last point means you must rephrase the quote in your own words or tell me what is happening in the quote so I know you understand it. If it is a literary device, you may explain both its literal and its figurative meaning. Okay? So there's your space for your supporting detail 1, your label and your interpretation, supporting detail 2, supporting detail 3. Okay, the last thing you have to do this week is step 5, your explanation. For each supporting detail you identified and interpreted, you must now provide an explanation. How does this supporting detail prove your thesis statement is true? So here's where you're going to make that connection between your supporting detail and your thesis statement. Okay, so you're going to tell me how your supporting details prove your thesis statement is true. All right, so that's what you have to do this week.